Hello and welcome to the Side One YouTube channel. My name is Ray, and in this video, R2D2 build part 11, we're going to start assembling legs. So there is in amongst all of the files for R2D2 the Kris leg cuts, and all of these files can be downloaded from the Mr. Baddeley Patron, and I've got a link within that downloads where to find these files. So he split the legs into three parts, and there's a left and a right leg. And these are actually really well done. They literally slide in and become very solid indeed. But they do need to be fixed properly. And for that, we're going to use the 3D pen and weld them together, both this top side and on the back side. What makes these joints really good is that they do them on multiple levels. So it's joined at the top and the bottom with the wedges, and they do it on both parts. So stop it from coming apart, let's weld it together. So this is all printed in PETG, and I've got PETG loaded into my 3D pen, which I've set for 235 degrees C. I'm going to start in the middle of the bottom section. That is going to need a little bit of cleaning up afterwards, but that side's welded. Let's get the other side. Okay, so that's the bottom one done. The seam for most of it is actually inside this groove, and I'm not going to be able to get down to weld these ones, and the seam again is in the groove here, so it's going to be hard to get at without destroying the groove. So I'm going to leave that as it is and rely on the welds on the surface presented parts to actually hold everything together. So let's get this top one together. And I might weld the back first this time. Now this I can weld all the way through, but I'll start here. That's all the backside done. Hey, it seems my camera decided to stop for a little while there. But that's all of that leg welded up where I'm going to weld. I could potentially weld in these joints here, but I don't think it's going to be necessary at this stage. Actually, I will do it. It'll make it just that little bit stronger. and make it easier to clean up for painting. Okay, so that's our leg welded up. Now it's going to need a bit of sanding, clean up some of those joins. But there are some other parts that go on top of this as well. So we've got holes here, 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 and here for magnets. And those are for, well, some of them are for this. This is what they call the horseshoe. It fits on the top. It was too big to fit onto my printer, so in the slicer I cut it at the top with this dovetail, and then that just pushes together like so. On the back side it has provision for the 4 magnets. There for those ones, and there's holes through here as well for some greebles to be painted and then installed, and M3 holes. There's also these grooves here, and they're actually for these pieces. So these print as a separate part and drop into those holes or those slots. And they are important because they actually help align here and in here and at the bottom, so that this doesn't fall off or doesn't slide with the magnets. So we might weld that together, and what I'll do is I'm going to spot weld these pieces in place so that they're just a guide, just to help. So let's pull those out for the moment. I'm just going to put this leg aside for the moment and spot weld this horseshoe up. So I'm going to start on the back side here. Okay, so that's the back welded. Let's get the front done. Okay, so that's the back and front of the horseshoe done. So on the back, let's tack weld these pieces on. Make sure when you're spot welding these down, or tack welding them down, you hold them down in place before you apply the heat. That way it will stick down better. Alright, so that's that part done. So all I need to do is just clean up where my welds are, obviously, give it a paint job and glue in the 4 magnets. And that will then sit on there quite nicely with the 4 magnets holding it down in place. Okay, so the next part we need to build, or R2, is, I think they call it the booster. Now this is another part that again would not fit on my print bed, so I used the the cutter built into the slicer that came with my Anycubic printer, and it allows this to just push back together quite nicely. It has 2 magnets that hold it onto the leg, and then these grooves here and this one here hold these pieces that printed as a separate part, and that helps keep everything aligned and held in place. On the bottom side there are two holes, and they line up with pins that will go into the ankle piece, and those hold the bottom in while the top is held in with two magnets, and you can just pull it and slide out. So I'm just going to weld this up, and then we'll weld these pieces in as well. So I'm going to turn it over and start on the top side. This is going to need a lot of sanding because I have got layer lines all the way through down here. If I bring it up close to the camera, you can see those layer lines, and it's particularly bad on this because it's a angled surface, so you got stepped lines where the layers step over. Now I put my cut through this joint here. When you have a look at how long these bits are, my print bed is 250mm, and you can see I'm just on the edge, and any further down I'd have to be doing two separate cuts, which was going to be difficult in the way the slicer does it. So I went for that spot where it's common to both, well, common to everything. A little bit of cleanup to do in there as well. Just one more tack on this piece. And I might give these two a tack down the sides. These are only for decoration anyway, these pieces, they don't form any structure. But I do want them to hold up in case I drop them. Alright, so that's that piece. Now it's going to require a lot of sanding and then probably a bit of putty filler, and then we can paint it. So I'll do the sanding and the painting off camera because it is messy and I don't want to wreck anything in here. So I'll repeat that one for the other leg, which I'll do off camera, and then I can put everything together. To see when I get R2 back onto his legs, don't forget to click on like, subscribe, and ring that notification bell. It's also a form of support that helps the channel a great deal and costs you absolutely nothing. If you'd like to support the channel further, I do have a Patreon account and YouTube membership, and you can join my VIP patrons Go Lucky and Copernicus, my All Access patron Jeff Jerd, my Builder patrons Almarellis 45, Andrew Cardone, Airgar69, Stefan Paps, James Kelly, and Guy Demiri, and my YouTube member Magdi Salib in helping to support the channel. If you've got any questions, feel free to leave a comment below or drop into the Discord. There will be a link in the description, and ask your question in there. If I can't answer it, someone else might be able to. And we'll see you in the next video.